Hi guys, hope we are doing well. It is Ben back with another video. Now, before you click off, because I'm topless, I've just come back from the gym. I'm absolutely boiling. It's like 33 degrees here. I'm a Brit. Like, come on, give me a break. But today, what I want to go over is literally give you the exact process and the exact steps that I have taken to go from 1K a month, living at home with my parents, working at a hotel part-time, basically lost, having no idea what I wanted to do in my life, to now making 15K a month online, having remote freedom to live wherever I want, time freedom and financial freedom, right? That is the steps I have taken over the past 1.5 years. I managed to make this happen in 1.5 years. So yeah, these are the exact steps that I have taken to get to where I am now. So step one, first things first, and this is exactly what I did. The kind of subheading I've put here is cut costs, cut distractions, right? And the three sub points are: one, move home. If you can move home, right, to cut costs on rent, then do it. If your parents, if you have the pleasure if you're lucky enough that you can move back in with your parents and cut costs on rent, then do it. Because you're gonna save yourself between £500 to £1,000 a month, and that's crucial, right? The less money you can spend, the more money you can then put towards education, right? And you're not gonna put yourself in a bad way where you're gonna be in debt. So first one, move home. And I get it, for some people that's not possible, but if it is, do it. Secondly, is staying in, right? If you want to get to a point where you can have financial freedom and be able to travel and do all these things, it's not just gonna happen if you just continue doing the same things you're doing, right? Especially if you're British, right? If you grew up in the UK, if you're in the UK now, to be fair, if you're anywhere, there's gonna be distractions. So you need to cut back on things. Whether that's not going out every weekend, whether that's maybe going out once every 3 or 4 weekends instead of every single week. You're gonna save money, you're gonna save time, and more importantly, you're gonna save energy. So you need to start cutting out distractions, but in the process of doing that, you're also gonna lower your costs as well. And again, that's exactly what I was doing. I was going out every weekend, spending 80 quid in the pub. Like, the amount of money that I saved from not doing that was massive. And again, you're gonna have to go through that period where you're gonna have to see your friends less. You're gonna be able to go out as much. You're not gonna be able to spend as much money, but that's okay, right? That's part of the process. That's part of doing things differently and getting to a point where you can have that freedom, right? And thirdly is looking stupid, right? You're gonna look a bit stupid, right? That's going to happen. People are gonna doubt you. People are gonna tell you you're dumb for what you're doing. That's normal, right? Because no one they know is doing this, right? So accept that reality, realize people are gonna doubt you, people are gonna judge you, but that's okay. Ignore them, focus on you, focus on what you're doing, and again, focus on the people who are in a position that you wanna be in. Like, what have they done? Because I can tell you now, the amount of people that I've met over the past year and a half, who are absolutely killing it in business and in life, every single one of them went through that period of their life where people were calling them an idiot. It was hard making ends meet. Like, everyone goes through that process, so realize that that's normal and that's part and parcel of being able to live this life. Right, so that is step one, right? Step two, and this is more work focused. If you're watching this and you're probably working, right? You're probably working full time, right? So the plan from here is go part-time. If you can, go part-time. It was the best thing that I did. I was working part-time at a hotel. I was working 2 or 3 days a week, and I was spending the other 4 days just focusing on trying to make money and trying to build a skill set that was gonna make me money, right? So focus, so if possible, go part-time, right? Time over money, right? That's so key. And I know it's tough because you're not gonna be making as much money, so you're not gonna be able to go out as much, but this is all part of it, right? You have to do that. So go part-time, it gives you more time to focus on whatever you're growing, right? To again, always thinking about the end goal of freedom here. Right? You want to keep a base. Again, you've got the part-time, so you've still got a bit of money coming in. As I said, like, I was bringing in about £1,000 a month. I was living at home with my parents. I wasn't doing anything else. Like, that was enough to keep me going. So yeah, and I was lucky enough that my parents weren't charging me rent. So yeah, if possible, right, I'm proof that you don't need money to live off, right, whilst you're trying to make this work. Right, and then thirdly is use energy for your new kind of plan, right, for your new path, right, whatever you want to do to get this freedom and get this location freedom. So all the energy that you would have been putting into your job, right? You're now working 3 days a week. That means you've got 4 days to dedicate to this skill or to this business, whatever you want to do. For me, it was learning sales. I had 4 days a week where I could put every bit of energy I had into getting better at sales, which in turn, again, was going to allow me to make more money and be able to travel, right? So remember that you want to preserve your energy as much as possible. Because if you think you can do this whilst you're working full time, it's going to be really tough. You're going to be working 9 to 5, 8 hours every day, Monday to Friday, right? When you get home from work at 5 p.m, it doesn't matter. You know, you can say you're going to put in the time after work, but it's extremely hard to do that, right? You've just put an 8-hour workday in, and now you're expected to come home and do another 3 or 4 hours learning sales or learning whatever, right? Let's just do sales for this, because that's what I did. It's very hard. You put 8 hours into work, you come home, you're tired. So if you can go part-time, it means you have specific days that you can dedicate to learning the skill. So do that if possible. Right, third, learn a high income skill, right? So for this example, it's sales. That's exactly what I learned, right? So I'm going to talk about that, right? Sales equals freedom, mentor equals speed, free information equals free results. So what do I mean by all of those things? Firstly, sales is freedom. If you learn sales and you get good at sales, you will have freedom, right? So the better you get, the more money you'll make, the more freedom you'll have, right? Keep that in the back of your head the whole time. And I know that sounds really obvious, but like that's the most important sort of equation that we're going to talk about today. Secondly is mentor equals speed, right? You do what you want, right? I'm not here telling you what to do, but this is what I did. I worked with a mentor. I worked with someone who had done it, who'd gone through the steps that I wanted to. So it just sped the whole process up. I had someone who I could ask questions to, who could show me the route. It made everything a lot quicker. And thirdly, free information equals free results. And what do I mean by that? Again, if you're watching YouTube videos, yes, you can go on YouTube. All the information's probably there. But because it's free, you're going to get free results. There's a reason it's free, right? It's because there's not enough attached value to it where someone can charge for the information that they're giving you. And I put in brackets there, sting, right? It needs to sting a bit, right? For me, when I invested money, I put my last $3,000 or £2,500 into a mentorship to teach me sales. After I invested that money, I had no money left. But that was probably one of the best things I did, because not only did it speed up with a mentor, but it made me take action, right? It fucking stung. It hurt watching that money leave my account. It was horrible, right? I hated it. But that then gave me the fuel to then put in way more work so I can make that money back, right? If you get uncomfortable, if you get out of your comfort zone, then you're going to make the money quicker, right? So it needs to sting. If it doesn't sting, then you're just going to stay comfortable, right? So that's part of it. You need that accountability where you invest it and you're like, fuck, you know, that really hurts, but now I'm going to put in even more work so I can get the money back quicker, right? And that's exactly the thinking that I had. Right, step 4 is outreach and skill building, right? So for sales, right, you need to learn, do, repeat, everything. You need to learn the sales process. You need to understand sales, right? You need to go through training videos, watch YouTube videos, work with your mentor if you decide to, and just learn, do, repeat, learn, do, repeat, learn, do, repeat. Every day, whenever you have time, going through, understanding everything and putting it into practice. Now, how can you put it into practice? Role play. Role playing every single day is so important, right? If you're learning to drive a car, you can read a manual on how to drive a car, but it's nothing like actually getting into the car and driving it, right? And it's very, very similar for this. So you need to get out there, you need to try, you need to do the role play sessions with friends. You can find people on Facebook, you can find people in your mentorship program if you're part of one, which is what I did. Every single day, me and a guy called Rahul, role play every day. And each day we were getting better and better. The skill set was building, right? And the third thing is outreach. You can have all the skill set in the world. You can be the best sales rep. You can do as many role plays as you want. But if you don't have an offer, if you don't have a sales job to actually put this into practice where you can make money, then what's the point, right? There's absolutely no point of you even doing all of this, because you're not going to make money from it. So you need to be thinking as well, okay, how am I going to land a job, right? How am I going to get a job so I can actually put this skill into action and start making money, right? So yeah, outreach. Now, what do I actually mean by outreach? So what I did is I just started sending Instagram DMs every single day to business owners. I would find business owners who ran offers or coaching, and I would send them a personalized Loom video talking about myself, talking about them, why why I feel like I could work for the company, what it was specifically about the business owner that I liked. The more personalized you make it, the better, right? You're more likely to get a reply. And I sent those out every day. And sometimes I wouldn't get any results. Days went by, no one would reply. But then I finally had one person reply. I hopped on an interview and I landed the role. That role ended up making me my first £5,000 in 1 month online, right? So I promise you the system works, but you just have to stay persistent. You have to stay consistent. And that's with absolutely everything on here, right? So that is the first half. Those are the first four steps, right? Cut costs, right? First thing, go part-time so you have more time to invest into the skill and getting better. Learn the skill, find the skill you want to learn it, knuckle down on it. All that time you've bought back should be going straight into this, straight into learning that skill. And then fourthly, outreach, right? Trying to get yourself to a point where you can have a job and you can put these skills into practice. Right, so those are the first 4 steps. Right, the next 3. So, step 5, now we need to land a role and we need to be even more obsessed than we were before. Right, role secured, but the job's not finished, right? Job's not finished. And the reason for it is because you haven't made any money yet. Yes, you've got the job. Yes, the skill set's looking good. But now we have to actually put it into practice. Now it's the big boy shit, right? You're actually getting on the sales calls. So you're jumping on, role secured, jumping on the calls. Hopefully you're beginning to close, actually start making money. Now we're doing call reviews, right? Every call that you have, you want to be reviewing, whether that's with a mentor, whether that's with a friend, anyone in your network, going through your call reviews, looking at what you're doing well, what you're not doing well, and just beginning to improve, get better. Now, 5th is you're beginning to get paid now, right? The money's beginning to roll in, right? You're getting paid, you're closing deals, or if you're setting, then you're getting commission for setting appointments as well. So the money's coming in, that's the main thing. And trust me, with this process, you won't see anything for a while. You'll go nothing, and then bang, everything will hit you at once, right? I've literally seen it, I saw it with myself, I see it with everyone who I meet, I've seen it with guys who I've coached, like this guy called Rory. He did crazy amount of outreach, sent loads of Loom videos, saw nothing, all at once, got 3 closing roles for 3 different 7-figure companies, right? It will come, but you need to have that persistence, you need to be locked in and fully committed, right? Burn the boats, right? You need to burn the boats. So 6, right? At this point, you've got more experience, right? You're closing deals, you're getting experience. Now it's about leveraging that experience, right? More experience equals more offers, right? The stats don't lie. If you close $1 million in high ticket sales, people are going to want you to work for them, right? Because most people never get to that point because most people give up. So we want to start leveraging the experience that we have to land better offers, and not just better offers, but to have more offers in our pipeline. One of the most important things that my first mentor taught me is that you need to have multiple offers on the table. You might have one, it might be doing really well, maybe you're making 10K a month from it, but you never know when an offer's going to drop. You never know when marketing might drop. So you need to have other things in the pipeline so that you can jump on another offer if the offer you have begins to go down, right? So more offers, have things in the pipeline. You want inbound, right? You don't want to be doing outbound anymore. You want people coming to you asking for giving you opportunities. The way you can do that is recruiters. You can join recruiter pipelines. These recruiters get paid to place really good sales reps within companies. And look, at this point, you're looking good. You're a good sales rep. There's a lot of opportunity, so people are going to want you. So put yourself in a recruiter pipeline, and then you don't have to do any work. People will reach out to you if they want you. And again, we're then just building this pipeline up, so we now have autonomy. We have the choice. Oh, maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll go work for this company or this company. We have that choice. The more choice we have, again, the less likely we are to drop our income, right? And then lastly is be the talent people want, right? Stats do not lie, as I said, right? The better you get, there's literally no lying in sales. The better you get, the better opportunities you get, the more money you make, right? So you need to get better opportunities will come, and then you'll make more money from those opportunities, right? So that's 6, and now 7, and this is the last point, is at this point, right, we're now making 10K a month. You're on an offer, you've got a good enough skill set where you can now make over 5 figures a month, right? At this point, you're in an elite team, which is so important. Like a lot of people in the space, they like to bounce from offer to offer to offer. I've worked mainly for 2 offers in my time, 2 e-commerce offers, and I promise you, if you stay loyal and you stick by an offer, right, and you get along with the business owners, you're going to have amazing opportunities come to you, right? For me, I was able to travel to Montenegro. The offer owner I was working for took me out on a free boat trip for the day. I was living with one of the other closers. It was one of the coolest experiences. And again, that came from me committing and being part of a killer team. The same thing happened again when I was working for the other e-commerce company. They invited me out to Ibiza. I spent 2 days with the offer owners. We had a really, really good time. We went to all the cool clubs. Like, it was such a cool experience. And you will get those types of experiences if you stay loyal, right? And if you put in the work and you're part of a killer team, right? So really, really important that you get part of that. And then just stick and grow, right? You're just gonna get better, stick with the company, keep growing. You'll probably have a sales manager. You're just gonna get better and better and better, and you're gonna be able to make more and more money to a point where you can then travel, right? You'll probably be able to travel at this point anyway, but you've quit your job, right? I haven't really mentioned that, but around here, right, you've got the proof of concept. We can now quit your job, right? This is where we go all in. We've got the proof of concept, we've got money coming in. Now it's like, great, we'll quit the job. Now we've got an extra 3 days a week where we can be taking more calls and we can be making more money. If you make 3 extra closes on each of those days, you're selling a 5K offer, that's 1.5K that you've made from having those extra 3 days, right? So important that you do that. But yeah, at the end of the day, it really boils down to these 2 things. Right, this equation, freedom equals skill times action times patience, right? And this is the most important one, and this is the one most people lack. Most people do not have the patience to do this. This isn't an overnight thing. It takes time. But if you stay committed and you stay persistent, there's absolutely no reason why you can't be making these kinds of figures. There's no reason, because it's exactly what I did. As I said, I went from working at a hotel, 1K a month, living with my parents, no idea what I was doing, completely lost, to a point where I'm now traveling. I'm in Bali, I'm living here for a month, right? I've been able to live in Marbella for a month this year. I'm going on trips to Croatia. I'm going back to Marbella for a mastermind this summer. Like, I'm in that position because I had this. I had patience, right? I knew anything worthwhile isn't gonna happen overnight, right? So it's so, so important that you have that. But yeah, freedom times skill times action. All 3 of those things, if you master them, right, you will make money and you will have that freedom. Time, money, and location freedom. That is what sales allows you to have, right? Yes, you're still going to have to work, but that is what you will be able to do. And you'll be able to live in places like this and do cool shit, essentially. But yeah, that is everything. That is the step-by-step plan on exactly how you can go from working a 9-to-5 job to making over 5 figures a month online from wherever in the world. I hope that was useful. If you have any questions on that at all, let me know. I've left a link in the description for a video which basically runs you through exactly what high ticket sales is and how I managed to leverage sales to allow me to have financial freedom within my life. So if you're at all interested, you can click that video, give it a watch, let me know what you think. But yeah, if you want more content like this, loads of other videos on the channel, and also you can check out my Instagram. All right guys, cheers.